Henshaw here again, your friendly local constitutional counselor from California. And this is a subject I should have got the video done earlier, but the difference between law enforcement thugs and peace officers. The latter is what we should have here, and we did have back in the day, by the way. And we'll learn more about that later, too. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. But it looks like today that a major qualification for a law enforcement thug is that you're quote unquote ex-military. That doesn't work, especially ex-Marine Corps. I mean, who the hell knows what they're put through in any of these service academies, with mind control and whatever they can do, and the result is people like that, when they apply for peace officer jobs, they can't tell the difference between Kabul, Afghanistan and Kalamazoo, Michigan. And that's what accounts for so much crap that goes on today. Wow, with George Floyd, Canadian Okoli, Jalen Walker, to name a few. The law enforcement thugs just think that there's no value to life. And that's exactly what the New York banksters think too. That's what they teach. They don't do it overtly, but that's the net effect, and it needs to stop. So that said, we get back to peace officers, and now most of these laws that are on the book don't get enforced because there are no injured parties and thus no criminal jurisdiction. That's another big step in the right direction as well. But yeah, when you think about it, and all these first-degree murders, that these felons commit, like the Jalen Walker, and nobody gets indicted for even involuntary manslaughter when they should all be on death row. And this is what will stop this from happening now. We get peace officers who will be properly instructed by a governor who has the sworn duty to see the laws are faithfully executed. A major big deal, especially in the Supreme Court in recent years. They understand what I'm talking about here. And that's what has to change across the board. And it's a great improvement for all of us. And yes, I'll concede here, especially the quote unquote white supremacists, that most of the victims here are black. And a very good reason for that is that keeps us, from joining together and fighting when we have a lot more common interests than you would think at first blush. Whether that's Asians, Africans, anybody else. And when we get back to our original government, Republican form of government of defined and limited powers, that's what we want to have happen. And even though you're not our political equals, and there is a lawful way for that to occur, by the way, you will have creator endowed inalienable rights, and that will prevent all this nonsense from going on. That's the biggest change that can be made and should be made forthwith. So knock it off with all these BS statutory crimes and this, that, and the other. You don't have a common law crime, particularly with the dead body. But there are common law crimes without that. Then these people have to stand down. And by the way, this saves a hell of a lot of money in law enforcement proceedings and court proceedings. It just gets a whole lot better no matter how you look at it. It has to be right. So that said, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. You'll learn a whole lot more about this and a lot of other related subjects. It just gets better and better, and I've been blessed with a divine ability to do what I do here. I have an acapella expert witness command of 230 years of the Constitution, laws, and history of the United States. And that's what you're going to learn. You can then teach your children and your posterity, so they have a much better chance of not getting involved with all the BS that goes on today and has for generations, and get on the right track. And even better, if they get on a jury, they're going to know they have the power to rule on the facts and the law. And we did, and we do. And that's one of the biggest blessings, that those racist founding fathers put in there, was the right to trial by jury according to the course of the common law. Not the civil law administrative crap we have today in an administrative tribunal. And what you'll learn looks like a judicial court, but it's not one. send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. We get back there and we do it right, and some changes will have to be made, no question about it. It won't be an easy process, but an essential one for all of us. And we start working together, you know, the sovereign body politic of the nation and republic, Asians and Africans, now they can't beat us. And we're going to get a lot done here, in Washington, D.C., and get rid of the New York banksters, undefined dollars, federal, regional, martial law rule, you name it. It's all worthwhile doing. To learn more, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. And remember to subscribe, like the videos, get the word out. The sooner we start taking action, especially in areas like this, the quicker we make things better for yourselves, your children, and your posterity. That's how good it is. Thank you.